All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Wonder Egg Priority, Season 1, Episode 1.
A new show.
Yeah, new show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this, but I'm curious why it's called Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah, same. Wonder Egg Priority as a name feels like something that's either slightly code or slightly a bit of a misnomer or a bit abstract. But we'll probably find out once we get into it. Yep. I actually know one slight little thing that was passed along to me, and I'll let you know what it is at the end of the episode's reaction, just because I don't want Jacob to have this. It's not a strong spoiler necessarily, but it's something regarding the like a theme basically.
Gotcha.
Had someone that was a bit, just wanting to look out for us to make sure that we were aware about something. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And for those of you that are watching or have already watched the show, you probably know what it is I'm talking about.
All right.
But I'm really interested in getting into this one as well, because this is one of those shows that's been recommended to us quite a lot because it's much more like recent.
Yep.
But also like no one's been saying like why.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's weird, is usually we don't get like spoilery recommendations.
But
we get people saying
like a show.
The reason why you'll like this is because of blank.
The characters are really good, or something
or
like that.
The setting is really cool.
Yeah.
The concepts, some aspects of the analysis, the animation, and all that. No.
Nope. No clue.
No idea.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new world. It's going to be fun, and seeing like how we kind of jump right into it. So let's just do that. Yeah. All right, everyone. Now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below. Then come back here for the discussion.
Oh boy. Oh man, I love this show. Love this show.
Oh boy. This is going to be a really happy, fun show, isn't it?
Well,
we're going to have so much.
I think so.
Much. Oh, man.
I really think so.
Man, I totally understand why my friend basically was like, this deals with suicide, so just heads up. That was what they told me, basically.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. And when you mentioned that they mentioned something, I was like, okay, it was probably some kind of trigger warning,
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
But okay.
Okay, cool. So,
I am so glad that they're getting into this, and it's almost like a fundamental nature of what the show is about. Now, granted, it doesn't necessarily have to be that all those people in the eggs killed themselves or whatever. No comment, right? But at the very least, the idea of our main character who had a best friend that killed himself.
Yep. And then she either blames herself for it, or at the very least has that survivor's guilt aspect of, I could have been a better friend to you,
right?
And you didn't have to do this. But the thing is that it's
and on
never
top of that, she's also getting bullied and all that.
It's never that simple.
Yep.
It's never that simple.
Right.
Simple, Oto. So I really am excited to see how they go into the psyche of Oto Ai, because for her, there's some very complex emotions that can come up, not just from the suicide angle side of things, but just from shutting yourself in and kind of closing yourself off from the outside world. And yet the story seems to be about her entering outside. Well, not the real world though. Dreams that are a nice substitute potentially for going out.
Exactly. Which is great, because this is what we go to stories for in the first place anyway. So she's kind of doing the same thing that the audience would be doing here.
Totally.
Even if we don't necessarily have the same situation as her, right? But it's by seeing characters and fictional people in this dream that we get to go into.
Right.
Then we can maybe learn something that we can then take into our own lives that can help us deal with whatever kind of shit we're going through.
Right.
Awesome.
The issue, though, is that dreams of this nature usually are just a mirror, a reflection of a lot of your emotions and a lot of things that's going on. And while I would say that there's a potential for some really good things that you can learn from this, of that, the solution ultimately is within. You can actually just
pull out that magical girl weapon.
Yeah. You can you can get a lot out of this, but the part that feels a little bit more important here is, this is a common one in anime in general, is that you need a friend, you need someone close by in this. So it feels like the dream does have a fantastical, actual mechanical element to it that is to bring these characters together,
right,
for them to help each other. And the odd thing, though, is that it has to have some kind of real world implications because of the wounds carrying into the real world. That's why there was the worry about the heart and the eyes.
Yeah, and how much of that is literal versus like thematic or metaphorical?
Oh, it's the wound thing put her in the hospital. It's 100% literal in that regard.
Yeah, but then there's also the idea of the thing that the parents brought up. Their concern is this self-inflicted?
Of course, right? They have no idea how it came about.
No, right. But there is still the this is something just for the sake of saying it, but that it is still possible that even the wounds are self-inflicted here, and that's an example of how.
Yes, I'm not talking about cause. I'm talking about the effect. The effect
is the end result.
The end result is she ends up wounded.
Right.
Regardless of what caused it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm guessing that if she didn't have the dream, then at the very least, we would have it be a little bit more clear as to how the mechanics of it work.
Exactly. If she didn't,
regardless of whether it's self-inflicted.
No, totally, right. And so it's something where this is basically Oto's journey to acceptance of what happened, but then also resolving within herself what she's going to do and how she's going to grow in the future, so that way she can better handle the struggles that life throws at her own struggles, and helping other people with theirs, right?
Right.
And this is sort of her journey of being on that 12th step, right, of helping a bunch of other people, and as a result of that, she
see, I don't think she's at the 12th step yet.
No, not that she's that close to being resolved with things, but that and addiction versus, this is very different. But
there's a reason why we're following her character, and the other character, Kurumi, left.
Right.
She's gone.
Yep.
She's not going with her on this adventure here.
Right. Yeah. Oto has the biggest journey that she needs to go on.
Right.
Yeah.
She is not, I would say, doing this primarily, and this is the thing that I think should be brought up here in a rather interesting facet, is that I don't think she's doing this to necessarily help others. Let me talk about why.
Okay, sure, yeah.
I think she's doing this primarily as a survival thing to help herself.
Absolutely.
And that's why when she was in the cafeteria and she said, well, they're not attacking you, and also you're immortal because this is my thing, she goes, well, then I'm going to... I'm not going to go with you.
Yep. And
it's... That hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Because... Oh, man.
And it's the thing, and I love that was brought in here in the first episode, right? Because when you have a situation where someone is doing something awful to you or to someone you care about or whatever, and then you don't get nearly as mad at the person who's doing the thing as the people who know that the thing is wrong and stand by and don't do anything. Right?
Literally the see no evils.
The see no evils.
It's like,
right.
And I love that that's sure. That's just literally what they're called.
Yep. It's fantastic. Oh, and then also the fact that the people that are chasing her, their eyes are all like censored out, almost like they've lost their eyes and their heart, right? Because their heart, because they're doing these awful things, and their eyes because they're not actually observing the things that they're doing, right?
Yeah.
But then the fact that, oh no, Oto, you are a see no evil as well. Right? And that's why there's so much guilt, right?
Well, it's what she did, apparently, in her mind with her best friend.
You shouldn't be friends with me and all that stuff, right? Now, there was a part of it that was I'm not deserving of having a friend.
Yeah.
Right? But
she had pretty low self-esteem in general for being bullied.
Yep. But given the fact that her friend was the one who ended up killing herself, even if that was all that Oto did, we don't see stuff in the future of like how she kind of kept doing that or whatever, or was so distracted with her own issues of being bullied or whatever that she didn't she wasn't there for her friend when her friend was going through whatever led to her killing herself.
Well, I think that's something we can just wait and see.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't make any assumptions about that.
Sure, but I'm guessing that there there is a whole storm of emotions, as there would be, right? And a fair amount of it seemed to be some aspect of guilt. Hence why there was that whole situation where then with Kurumi, she's like, okay, no, I'm going to do this, right? And she gets the running start and takes the leap, and and all of that, right? And that's why it's a cathartic moment, because that's where the growth is, right? It's the thing that she wasn't capable of doing before, whether it was because she wasn't in a dream or because she just made the decision that she made in the cafeteria, right?
I think it's the biggest mystery.
Yeah.
So far, though.
The bug?
No. The bug. The bug gives me weird vibes, but the bug doesn't really do much more than serve as a interactive exposition type voice for
right, he could be
guide.
like a weird Jiminy Cricket almost.
Yeah, I don't even think they're that important. Because Jiminy Cricket is actually the conscience of the Pinocchio character. This
is just a facilitator of, like...
Well, this thing has a weirdly cold but human aspect to it.
To me, it feels like a mix of Jiminy Cricket and QB, which is like two antithetical things, right?
Yeah, I can't put Jiminy Cricket in...
It's just a flying bug that,
I can't.
guides the person through the emotional journey.
Yeah,
but
Jiminy Cricket is way too positive.
Oh, definitely. Hence
QB.
I
can't. Yeah. And I feel like I need to just come out and say it here.
Okay.
Because I'm dancing around the point here and stuff. Why did he mention that the first one is free? Why did Kurumi mention that there's nothing more expensive or nothing costs more than a free gift?
Okay.
What is there? Because this has Madoka Magica vibes.
Right. Where's the Faustian bargain?
Yeah. What's the economy here? Why is there a cost to it at all?
So the most benign thing that I could think of is that it's a forcing function for her own psyche to basically say, you can't stay here in La La Land. You actually need to start applying this in the real world, so there will be a cost if you just want to keep doing it on practice mode, basically. That's the most like...
Well, we're immediately out of practice mode, apparently.
Right, exactly.
And we saw another person just...
turning that crank, yeah.
Getting as many eggs as possible.
Yep.
That didn't seem healthy.
The second one that I could think of it is that because she hasn't fully dealt with her own issues, she needs to... And I think the bug mentioned this...
Line of where I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, if you try and help too many people, you'll end up just getting dragged down, right? You need to actually take care of you. And doing this kind of a thing, you are paying a cost, right?
Yep.
Because you are actually like in this first one...
mental and emotional energy.
Right. Well, this first one didn't necessarily have to have anything to do with her own growth. It was something where she was actually doing this for herself, kind of like you said, right? To resolve within herself that she was different, she had changed, right? That she would have a different approach to life, etc., things like that, right?
Right.
Now that she knows she is capable of helping people, right? That she has something potentially to contribute. Now it suddenly is a cost because you're actually handing that out.
Right.
So,
but
yeah.
Why does something demand that payment be made? That is a given just by observing, right?
Right. Within the psyche realm of things, right? It makes a lot more sense. Well, within the fantastical realm of like all this stuff being on some level a literal thing, or a real thing at the very least. A
representation of a literal thing.
Yeah. Then that suddenly gets a lot sketchier.
I think it gets a lot sketchier because there would be... okay, here's what I think about it, is that if we're entering a dream world...
Right.
...that has mechanics that carry over from dream to dream...
Yes, which I love.
Then that means we're not entering a dream world.
We're entering an alternate world.
We're entering an alternate world that has rules and specific things that you don't control. If you are entering a dream that is your dream, on some level, you control the dream. Even if it's a nightmare, even if it's like your thing, then it's like for the most part pretty much okay. But in Madoka Magica, spoiler alert, it's a really good show. You should check it out.
Definitely.
When they enter the spaces that the witches create, the witches are stronger in those domains.
Yeah,
it's a specific thing that they've created because of the brokenness that's within the person who is having all these dark thoughts and things like that, and potentially is suicidal. In this here, I get the vibe that this is a in-between of sorts.
Sure, sort
for
of like
then you'll go into the witches' spaces.
Right, shared dream space for people to go to and also be rescued in or hunted in or whatever.
Right. But then that to me makes this whole thing seem extremely suspicious, because then why do we have to have any kind of middling kind of realm of sorts?
So I do like the idea of it being a sort of in between middling realm, because that means that then, since it's a place that both parties would have to go to, both the victim,
mechanic for them to meet, for her to meet new people.
No, totally, right.
Other magical girls,
Right, but if both the victim and the rescuee, or the victim and the rescuer, have to go to this place.
Wait, why does the victim need to go here?
If it's an in-between place.
Well, but we haven't seen, technically, unless we're considering Oto a victim. These are
sure.
all people that are coming to help people that are in the eggs.
Good point. So within mechanics, that has not necessarily happened. Although there was the whole thing of that she asked of why do you open the egg here, which is interesting. But but if that is the case,
that's a good point.
That could be a fun bit of commentary, basically, to Oto of saying the bullying might not necessarily be happening anymore, but because it's still
she's removed herself from the situation.
Well, yes, it definitely isn't happening now because she doesn't go to school anymore, right?
Yeah.
But because it's that whole thought virus thing, because it can propagate up in here, it can actually end up being something where you hurt yourself by dwelling on the hurtful things that other people have done to you. It's the giving, it's the making them live on beyond the immediate environment.
Yeah,
right?
I totally get that. That's a great topic that we can get into, because there's people that are in such a powerless state in terms of where they're at, that the words of someone that spoke to you 7 years ago still holds sway. Right. That's very much how most human beings live, even if it's a positive thing. Sometimes people will remember the one compliment that they got from that one person after decades.
Right. That's why vulnerability is important, because if you couldn't get so incredibly hurt by being vulnerable, then we wouldn't value it, right?
Right. Hence the best friends versus the superficial ones that are just like totally.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah. So I love how this episode has set it up, because from the thematic side of things, I'm totally on board, but also from the world building side of things, I'm on board, because it's tough to basically say, hey, we're going to have supernatural mechanics and things like that are a manifestation of a person's internal state, and actually have the conflict surrounding those supernatural mechanics have weight beyond what it means for the person, because it's kind of arbitrary, right? It could be anything.
Yeah, that's why I feel like the wound thing is really weird. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense to have that be a part of the mechanics. It feels too arbitrary.
Right. It's the wound, and then the idea of you're immortal as long as they don't get your eyes and heart.
Yeah. So maybe that's the thing that you were talking about earlier, is that this is if you don't protect yourself when you go in to help someone else with their darkness, essentially, you could get hurt yourself. And I think that makes sense. But then why not have that be another mechanic within the world? What getting hurt means, not having it be this is something we all recognize, blood. You got stabbed.
Right.
And the fact that she's specifically like, is this where my liver is? I'm like, oh, okay, sure. But why not have it be a thing like in, Madoka, where it's a thing of, now your egg is a little bit darker.
Right.
A little bit of stuff in there.
Yeah.
That's the fact
that it's also an egg in this.
Right. But why is it not a fantastical thing versus a carnal, physical thing, where it's like, you could die in the real world doing this? Is it to discourage people that just...
Yeah, I think it's a bit of that, but then it also, or at least, not from a world mechanic standpoint, but from a representation of what it means to the individual.
Okay.
If you are going and you're helping a bunch of people in these bad situations, right?
Right.
The two things that I would think would be compromised would be your perspective, your eyes, right?
Sure.
And then your heart, You know, you stop caring, you become cold, jaded, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea that those are the two things that you need to make sure you protect. If it's simply like what's a killing wound, you know, your brain's a killing wound, but they don't worry about that.
That's true.
Your logic and all of that stuff, that's fine, right? You know, your ability to reason, sure, right? But it's your ability to feel and your ability to see.
Yeah, I actually want to say specifically, I think it's the heart and eyes thing is something that Kurumi brought up.
Yes.
That's important. The fact that Kurumi is the one that brought that up and not the bug.
Okay, that's a good point.
Means that
she knows the mechanics of these worlds.
Right, but in some ways, Oto is being guided through this world on either just her own limited information, so the bug is her representation of her own spirit as the guide, basically.
Right, anytime she doesn't have a person that can tell it to her, then the bug comes in and fills in.
Oh, and that's maybe why the bug didn't know, quote unquote, whether or not Kurumi was also someone that killed themselves.
Right.
And went, no comment.
But that's still sort of a weighted comment of
saying
probably.
Well, probably.
Which is what Oto's thinking.
That's what she thought. So yeah, that's a good point then.
One of the other things that's interesting here is that if Kurumi was telling Oto some of the mechanics of the world, then that means, assuming that it's not just this is all Oto's head and all that stuff, and so it's really her telling herself this, you know? But assuming it's like actual, there's actual like reason to it, right?
Yeah.
That would mean that Kurumi either had previously
done this on her.
Right. Either she has gone to help someone before, or someone else has come in to help her and told her about this, and yet they failed. They failed, right? They weren't able to actually help her. And the whole thing of the eyes and the heart probably means that either, well, the person that came to help her died as a result of that, or they, you know, it had passed along the grapevine, you know, the bug had told them, or someone else had told them, or something like that, right? But that's, you know, that's curious.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think we got a relatively good handle on things here. I really do like the way that they handled the visuals. The
visuals were fantastic.
The simplicity of it at specific times was kind of nice to draw attention to specific kind of bits to focus on there. But
one of the things that I really liked about the visuals with the See No Evils, because I think as far as the world mechanics of the monsters and stuff that they had to deal with, the See No Evils were my favorite. I loved the eyes being centered out on the actual, like, you know, bully person with the axes and stuff. But I loved that the See No Evils, I didn't actually see them ever like stab them.
That's true.
Like now, it's possible that they did, and that's where the wounds came from. But if anything, it looked like they collided into them, which is interesting to me, because what that makes me think is they're brandishing this scary weapon, right? But they're not actually using it. They're partaking in the bullying by being part of that mob force that you don't want to get near. But they don't actually use the blade themselves, so they're okay, right? Yeah. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Oh man. There's a little comment that the bug makes that I thought was rather interesting, because it immediately gets capitulated basically with the girl that Oto meets with the nice figure. Oto says, "If I protect more at once, will it go that much faster with regards to helping?" Koito. And then the bug says, "You're a greedy idiot, huh?"
Yeah.
You know, if you can't protect them, you won't make it either.
Right.
So then, when we end up bumping into new character here, basically, she's grabbing tons of eggs.
Yep.
And I mean tons. Yeah,
as many as she can get.
And the two kind of puppet people at the table playing Go mention, like, yes, we're always worried about her. And it's like, okay. But this person gives me literally vibes of Homura, yeah.
Oh yeah, the cold dead inside badass.
Yeah, exactly. The cutesy kind of outfit to be like, yes, look at me, I am innocent.
Because piggybacking off of that, because the idea of, what if I was actually this magical person that could help everyone effortlessly? That's, well, it's attractive. But is is it realistic? You know, like I feel like there's a reason that in those kinds of situations, the person who is the hyper competent one is always made to be beautiful. You know, and like the characters will comment on it, like specifically, like that was very much a thing with Homura when she was introduced. It's like, oh wow, she looks so good, you know, her hair and all that stuff, and she's so perfect at all these things, right? And then in this situation, one of the first things she says is, oh, she has such a good figure.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the first things she said about herself is, I'm ugly.
Ah, true.
You know,
true.
like,
yeah, that desire to be this person who can save everyone like that, because
also,
I couldn't save the one, turns into a bit of a complex and
all right.
Okay,
I also
like
find
that.
it interesting, like, you know, maybe this is just because in an anime that has a lot of wonderful visuals, the eyes are also going to look gorgeous because eyes are just beautiful in general, like especially if you think about like how they're built and stuff, like it's incredible. But the fact that Oto's eyes in particular are a sore spot, that makes me kind of curious of when this new character gets introduced and her eyes are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Right? Is that just the anime studio being like, well, we're going to make all of this look good naturally, or is there something else to it?
Yeah.
But
I mean, her having heterochromia means there could be some unique perspectives that she brings, and has a bit of an eye in both worlds, if you will. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Go into that with the heterochromia, but
value your eyes because, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, well, she doesn't right now, so.
Yep.
But y'all, this is an interesting first episode. So thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.